ọba ọ̀kìn tẹ́rí yẹn lọ́lọ́jà ẹ̀yẹ kìnìún lọ́lọ́lá ìjọ aṣíwájú lọ́jẹ́ a ò máa nírìlẹ̀ òkè òkè lójoojúmọ́ làwọn yóò máa lọ ní kejìlé tànú ti ń sọ̀rọ̀. ìyá lọ́jà ó bàbá lọ́jà ẹ̀yin ìyá lọ́jẹ́ ẹ sáré máa bọ̀ gbogbo olóṣèlú o ilé iṣẹ́ ńláńlá ilé iṣẹ́ kéréje kéréje mo ní ẹ máa bọ̀ ìròyìn tó bójú owó ẹ ó bá níbẹ̀ gbogbo fẹ́fẹ́ gbọ́ ìbẹ̀lẹ̀ ó ti gbọ́ ìrèdè. Bísíbítì o ọba ní bísíbítì o ọba ní bísíbítì o ọba ní bísíbítì o ọba ní. ìrèdè ló sọ pé ẹ bá wa dòwò pọ̀. lọ́lá Olúwa ẹ ò ní kábàámọ̀.
amóhundùnbẹ̀mù bọ́mà tó dóde orí òkè téńté làwà àgbẹ̀ ń ṣe bí ọba ìròyìn tó péye o àwa ní kẹ́ máa gbọ́. Vicinity FM ọ̀gára jẹ́ Vicinity FM lónígboro 95.3 ìkejì lé látàkọ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ sí o. Vicinity FM ọ̀gára jẹ́ Vicinity FM lónígboro. eré ìdárayá ètò tó mú bọ́ àti wà gan nìyẹn yé. Vicinity FM ọ̀gára jẹ́ Vicinity FM lónígboro. àwa la ṣojú ìjọba abẹnugan fún mẹ́kúnnù àwa ṣàníyàn. Vicinity FM ọ̀gára jẹ́ Vicinity FM lónígboro. ètò TVC wà ní ẹ̀pọ̀lọ́wọ́ ọjà kẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀dẹ́. Vicinity FM ọ̀gára jẹ́ Vicinity FM lónígboro. ṣàbí grace ló ní ẹ̀mọ́ kan ẹ̀ máa yí kúrò rárá. Vicinity FM ọ̀gára jẹ́ Vicinity FM lónígboro.
ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọjà kájẹ́kù kájẹ́ Vicinity ni.
ṣé ká ṣòwò ká jèrè ká bòde pàdé ní àdúrà gbogbo olókòwò ìdírò etí ìkànnì Vicinity 95.3 FM lórí òkè téńté nílùú ìkejìlé ilẹ̀ ìjẹ̀ṣà ọ̀ṣun lórílẹ̀‐èdè nàìjíríà fi pé gbogbo àwọn onílé iṣẹ́ ńlá àtolókòwò kéékèèké yálà ilé iṣẹ́ ìjọba tàbí ti aládàáni ẹ tètè wá ṣẹ́gi ọlà níbi tí orí ọlọ́lá ti gbé ńlá pẹ̀lú ìkéde àti ìpolówó ọjà ilé tí wọ́n ṣe nílé iṣẹ́ Vicinity 95.3 FM tí ń bẹ lórí òkè téńté nítorí pé ìkéde tẹ́ bá ṣe lọ́dọ̀ wa ẹ máa tàtà jèrè ní sáà káàkiri gbogbo ibi ni wọ́n ti ń gbọ́ wa ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀ṣun ìpínlẹ̀ oǹdó èkìtì ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ èfìmọ́ kwara àti ìpínlẹ̀ kogi bákan náà àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ mìíràn ni ò gbẹ́yìn fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé tàbí ẹ fẹ́ so òǹgbọ̀wọ́ kan tàbí òmíràn láwọn ètò wa ẹ pè adéṣọlá sí 08108629457 08108629457 ìkànnì Vicinity 95.3 FM ìgbádùn yín ló jẹ wá lógún.
ẹ dá girigiri ẹ máa bọ̀ kẹ́ sáré wá Vicinity.
Vicinity FM 95.3. We need wilders
for added value. Vicinity 95.3 FM is calling on individuals, public and private establishments to advertise their goods and services on Vicinity 95.3 FM, Ikejile, Ijesha, Osun State. With our wider reach in Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, Oyo, Kwara, and Kogi State, we are set to take your products and services to greater heights. For more information on advert placement and program sponsorship, please call Adeshola on 0810-862-9457. 0810-862-9457. We offer only premium services at Vicinity 95.3 FM.
We need wilders follow. We lead wilders follow. We lead wilders follow. Vicinity FM 95.3. We lead wilders follow. Àwa làgbà wọn. Aṣíwájú ni wá. Vicinity FM àwa ní bàbá. We lead wilders follow. We lead wilders follow. Vicinity FM ní kejìlé. We lead wilders follow. Àwa lọ̀gá o. We lead wilders follow. Adìẹ funfun àwa ṣá ní bàbá gbogbo. Àwa ní bàbá. Vicinity FM 95.3. Ẹranko tí ó ṣe bí olólàájú kò sí nígbó Àjíkẹ́ Adé. Erin lákàtàbú erin àwa gòkè á lọ. Ìyẹ́lẹ̀ ó máa wò lẹ́yìn ẹyẹ wa. Lọ́jọ́kọjọ́ nígbàkúgbà bàbá ni bàbá ń jẹ́. Lọ́jọ́kọjọ́ nígbàkúgbà bàbá ni bàbá ń ṣe. We lead while others follow. We lead while others follow.
Radio just got excited.
Let's go.
This is Vicinity FM 95.3. News from around the world. Vicinity FM 95.3.
This is Vicinity 95.3 FM, Kejile Ijesha. The time is 12 o'clock. I am Paul Eteng with Global News. First, the headlines. Group constitutes 22-member committee for National Political Summit to address challenges in the country. Congo seek removal of immunity for former President Kabila following allegations of war crime. And Kyiv residents react to U.S.-Ukraine mineral deal. Now, the news in full. Leaders of and elder statesmen have set the stage for the unveiling of a 22-member committee for a national political summit today in Lagos to address core national issues in the country. The summit is designed to suggest a workable constitution for Nigeria amid growing concern over the state of the nation. Elder statesman and former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Chief Emeka Onyaoku, the chairman of the Patriots, is working towards a new democratic constitution for the country, will unveil the committee to coordinate the summit scheduled to hold on May 28 and 29. The summit is part of the stakeholders' response and intervention to the heightening insecurity and instability in some parts of the country. Governors in the Northeast region have pledged joint action to combat poverty, insecurity, and revive agriculture at a high-level TAC in Damaturu, Yobe State. At the meeting, Borno State Governor and former Forum Chairman Babagana Umaru Zulum urged his counterparts from Adamawa, Bauchi, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe to focus on creating opportunities and delivering essential services to citizens. Other participants at the meeting are experts from Northeast Development Commission, the National Commission for Marginal and Out-of-School Children, traditional leaders, and security officials. Babagana called for a unified front to confront poverty crisis and rising security threats, terrorism, banditry, and criminality. They also resolved to adopt short and medium-term measures to revitalize agriculture, support farmers, and promotion of climate-resilient farming. The Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Drug Enforcement Administration have requested a 90-day extension from a United States District Court to produce documents relating to an alleged drug investigation involving President Bola Tinubu dated back to the 1990s. An American legal transparency advocate and founder of the platform Plainsight, Aaron Greenspan, is seeking the release of records connected to a Chicago-based drug ring named Tinubu along with 3 other individuals. The court presided over by Judge Beverly Howell had earlier ordered the FBI and DEA to provide a status update on the search and release of non-exempt documents by May 2nd. Greenspan opposed the delay, arguing that the agency had already delayed the process for years. He proposed a much shorter deadline. Kenya opposition member of parliament Charles Ware was shot dead in Nairobi on Wednesday night in what police described as a targeted and premeditated attack. Reports say the assailants approached his vehicle and opened fire, killing the legislator. President William Ruto has called for a thorough investigation, while opposition leader Raila Odinga mourned Ware as a gallant son of the soil. Ware, a member of the Orange Democratic Movement, was re-elected in 2022 to represent Kasipul constituency. His death has raised fresh concern about political violence in Kenya, threatening to disrupt the recent political truce between Ruto and Odinga, which followed last year's deadly protests and a March power-sharing agreement. The African Development Bank Group has approved a fresh $650 million yearly between 2025 and 2030 to drive economic transformation, build resilience, and foster broad-based prosperity. There was disclosed in a statement published on its website. The bank explained that $2.95 billion would be provided over the first 4 years of the plan, to be complemented by an estimated $3.21 billion in a co-financing from development partners. Commenting on the new plan, the Director General of the AFDB Nigerian office, Abdul Kamara, said the strategy takes a transformative partnership between the bank and Nigeria to a new level by investigating in sustainable infrastructure and inclusive agricultural growth, power systems as a pathway to prosperity for millions of Nigerians. The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, has requested the removal of parliamentary immunity for former President Joseph Kabila over allegations of war crimes and support for armed rebellion. Justice Minister Constant Mutamba made this known, saying the Congolese military prosecutor has submitted a formal request to the Senate to lift Kabila's immunity as a former head of state. Kabila holds the status of Senator for Life, which currently protects him from persecutions. However, authorities claim to have evidence implicating Kabila in war crimes against humanity and the massacre of civilians and soldiers, particularly through alleged support for the M23 rebel group, which has been active in North Kivu, where its offensives have destabilized the region and displaced millions. If the Senate approved the request, it could pave the way for trial of a former Congolese head of state on charges of war crime. This is Vicinity 95.3 FM, Kechile Ejisha. Global News will continue shortly. For comments, breaking news, and coverage of events, send an email to vicinitynewsroom@gmail.com or call 0814-365-8302. You can also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Vicinity 95.3 FM. Now, the rest of the news. An aid ship carrying 30 Turkish and Azeri activists to Gaza was struck by drones in international waters off Malta. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition (FFC) reported Friday. The attack caused a fire and a breach in the hull, prompting a Save Our Soul call and a response from a Cyprus vessel. Communications with the ship was later lost, raising concern for those on board. The coalition, which seeks to challenge Israel's blockade of Gaza, did not directly accuse Israel, however, demanded accountability for violating international law. The incident occurred amid a deepening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, with the Red Cross warning that aid efforts are near collapse following a 2-month blockade and intense Israeli military operation that have killed over 50,000 people. Kyiv residents and families of missing Ukrainian soldiers have reacted with mixed emotion to a new U.S.-Ukraine mineral deal that gives Washington access to Ukraine's critical resources. While officials see the agreement as a way to secure long-term American support against Russia, many citizens are uneasy due to the lack of transparency. Ukrainian officials claim the final version is more favorable than earlier drafts, nearly signed under President Trump. The current deal includes a reconstruction fund aimed at ensuring future U.S. support, still for people like Diana Abramova, whose father went missing in Donetsk. The focus remains on ending the war and bringing loved ones home. U.S. Vice President James David Vance has said the war in Ukraine is not going to end anytime soon. Vance, in an interview, said the question facing the U.S. administration can help Russia and Ukraine find middle ground to end the conflict that has been raging for more than 3 years. In a separate interview, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said there will be breakthrough in the conflict soon. Otherwise, Trump will have to decide how much time to dedicate to the issue. Russian President Vladimir Putin this week announced a temporary 3-day ceasefire from 8 May to coincide with anniversary celebration marking the end of World War II, while Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha called for an immediate 30-day ceasefire in response. And a bit of sports, Bruno Fernandes scored 2 goals as Manchester United secured a commanding 3-0 away win over 10-man Atletico Bilbao in the first leg of the Europa League semi-final on Thursday. Casemiro opened the scoring before Fernandes added a penalty and a second goal, capitalizing on David Vivian's red card for a foul on Rasmus Højlund. Despite a strong start and a passionate home crowd at San Mamés, Bilbao couldn't convert early chances and were left frustrated by refereeing decision. United, currently struggling in the Premier League, now have a strong advantage heading into the second leg at Old Trafford, with a Europa title offering both Champions League qualification and a financial lifeline. To end global news, another look at the headlines. Leaders and elder statesmen have set the stage for the unveiling of a 22-member committee for a national political summit today in Lagos to address core national issues in the country. We told you that the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, has requested the removal of parliamentary immunity for former President Joseph Kabila over allegations of war crimes and support for armed rebellions. And lastly, you heard Kyiv residents and families of missing Ukrainian soldiers have reacted with mixed emotions to a new U.S.-Ukraine mineral deal that gives Washington access to Ukraine's critical resources. That was Global News. It was edited by Oluwafunke. On behalf of the production crew, I am Paul Eteng. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for Please stay tuned for News Nationwide at 6 o'clock. Good afternoon.